There is probably one dream in your life that you keep returning to. Maybe it is a business, a YouTube channel, a book, a skill, a body you want to build, a version of yourself you keep imagining. And the strange part is, you have not forgotten it. You think about it at night. You imagine how your life would look if it worked. Sometimes you even feel a sudden burst of motivation, like this time you are finally going to begin. But then tomorrow comes, and somehow, the dream returns to the same place it has always lived, inside your head. Not because you are lazy, not because you do not care, but because part of you may be protecting the dream from becoming real. And that is where the real psychology begins. Most people think the opposite of action is laziness, but often the opposite of action is emotional safety, because as long as a dream stays in your imagination, it remains perfect. No one can reject it, criticize it, or compare it to someone else's work. And most importantly, you never have to face the painful possibility that you are not yet as good as the version of yourself you keep imagining. That is why some people do not fail because they lack ambition. They fail because their ambition is too emotionally important to risk. The perfect dream is safer than the imperfect start. Think about the dream before you begin it. In your mind, it is clean, powerful, impressive, full of potential. The YouTube channel has thousands of subscribers. The business finally works. The book sounds brilliant. The fitness journey changes your identity. The new life feels almost cinematic. But the moment you actually begin, something uncomfortable happens. The perfect dream turns into an imperfect first attempt. The first video looks awkward. Page sounds weak. Workout feels embarrassing. Business idea has problems. And suddenly, the dream is no longer protected by imagination. It is exposed. This is why starting can feel strangely threatening. You are not only starting a project, you are risking an identity. Because before you begin, you can still believe, I could be great. But after you begin, you have to deal with evidence. You have to see your current skill level, your current discipline, your current courage, your current limits. And for many people, that is the part they are avoiding, not the work itself, the mirror that the work creates. So ask yourself honestly, are you avoiding the task because it is difficult? Or are you avoiding the moment your dream becomes real enough to judge? The fantasy reward loop. There is another trap. Planning can feel like progress. You open a fresh notebook, make a new folder, watch another tutorial, create a perfect schedule, imagine the final result. And for a while, it feels good. Because the brain does not only respond to achievement, it also responds to anticipation. Sometimes, imagining the future gives you just enough emotional reward to feel close to success without doing the uncomfortable part that success requires. This is the fantasy reward loop. You are not doing nothing. You are doing the safe version of something. Researching feels safe. Planning feels safe. Organizing feels safe. Thinking feels safe. But execution is different. Execution can disappoint you. Execution can prove that you are a beginner. Execution can create a result that is smaller than your imagination. So the mind keeps returning to the part that feels rewarding without being risky. The dream, the plan, the identity of someone who is about to change, but not the action that would actually change them. 3. Productive procrastination. This is where many ambitious people fool themselves. They are not lying on the bed doing nothing. They are busy. Busy watching videos about success. Busy improving their setup. Researching better tools. Comparing strategies. Busy waiting until they feel more ready. But deep down, they know the truth. The main thing is still untouched. The page is still blank. The file is still empty. The camera is still off. The first message is still unsent. The first step is still waiting. This is productive procrastination. It gives you the feeling of responsibility without forcing you into the discomfort of real responsibility. And that is why it is so addictive. Because ordinary procrastination makes you feel guilty, but productive procrastination lets you feel intelligent. It lets you say, I am preparing, when the truth may be, you are hiding. Well, the most dangerous delay does not always look like laziness. Sometimes it looks like preparation. 4. The gifted child trap. This becomes even harder for people who were praised early in life for being smart, talented, creative, or full of potential. Because when you are praised for potential, you can become afraid of process. Potential is clean. Process is messy. Potential makes people say, "You could be amazing." Process makes you look ordinary for a while. And that can feel humiliating. So instead of choosing one path and becoming a beginner, you keep your identity wide open. You tell yourself, "I have many interests. I just need the right timing. I could do so many things. I do not want to choose the wrong dream." And sometimes that is true, but sometimes having too many dreams becomes a beautiful way to avoid committing to one. Because choosing one dream means letting the others wait. And for a person who has built their identity around potential, choosing one path can feel like losing 9 other versions of themselves. So they remain still. Not because they have no direction, but because every direction feels like a sacrifice. And 5, the real cure. So what is the way out? Not another life plan, not another motivational video, not another perfect system. The way out is to make the first action so small that your ego has nothing to defend. Because your ego does not fear action. It fears meaningful action. It fears the action that says, "This is who I am now." So remove the meaning. Do not write the perfect first page. Write the ugly first sentence. Do not launch the perfect channel. Create the rough first idea. Do not transform your life today. Open the file. Name the project. Move one object. Record 10 seconds. Send one message. Do the smallest version of the thing you keep turning into a life-changing event. Because the goal is not to become great in 2 minutes. The goal is to prove to your nervous system that beginning is survivable. That the dream does not die when it touches reality. That you can be imperfect and still continue. Most people wait for readiness before they act. But readiness is often created by action. You do not become confident and then begin. You begin, and confidence slowly learns where to stand. So when this video ends, do not go looking for another one. Do not search for another explanation of yourself. Choose one dream. Not all of them. One. Then, give it 2 imperfect minutes. Make it ugly. Make it small. Make it real. Because the version of you inside your imagination has been safe for a long time. But the version of you who actually changes your life has to be willing to look ordinary at the beginning. And maybe that is the real test. Not whether you can dream big, but whether you can start small without feeling ashamed. So close the app, open the page, and begin before your brain turns this insight into another plan. Before you leave, here is one small test. Comment just one word below. Started. But only after you actually spend 2 minutes on the thing you have been avoiding. And if this video made you understand yourself a little more clearly, subscribe to the channel. Because this channel is not about motivation. It is about seeing the hidden patterns behind why we think, avoid, dream, and change. Now close the app, open the page, and begin.